The following is a Ham Radio Productions podcast. Please enjoy. All right, hello everyone. It's Ashley here again with episode 2 of the Through the Ham Radio, a Stranger Things podcast. So excited to be back with you all again. Hope everyone enjoyed episode 1, Montauk script reading. If you haven't already, please go and watch that and check that out, and also subscribe to the podcast. Right now we're only on Spotify, mostly because the theme music I got from Spotify, so unfortunately Spotify is the only place that you can catch this podcast. As of now, I'm still working on getting some more other things straightened out with it so that we can go through all podcast platforms. So yeah, again, if you haven't already, check that out. Also, look me up, find me on social media. I have Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Reddit as of now, and obviously the podcast. But the links to those are in my bio, so feel free to check out my pages and give me a follow and like my stuff. I'm into fan edits. That's really what I do in addition to the podcast. So please check me out there. Okay, so we will get into the podcast now, episode 2, and in this episode, I will be talking about Stranger Things 4. I know that many of you, like myself, are waiting for season 4. We don't really know much, like release date, episode titles, all that good stuff. But there is stuff out there. Now, I know that many of you may not like spoilers. I'm not particularly crazy about them myself, only because I do like to wait. Because it's like, if you've already know what's going to happen, I mean, what's the point of watching the show, right? But I will have to get to Stranger Things. Even before filming for season 4 began, like if you go back, the first 3 seasons, they're very good at keeping the filming and the sets relatively spoiler free. Like, I don't really want to go into much detail here. On the recent set photos that from season 4 that were just released. And that actual, I think they were on Just Jared. I remember that. They've been on several others, but this was like the first actual internet pieces that we've been able to see. Before, it's just been like, I guess, drive-by, if you will. Pretty grainy stuff. Couldn't really get a whole lot from set pictures, but we could this time. And without going into much detail, I will say, okay, yeah, they're preparing for some type of battle, this is Stranger Things. Like, we know that there's going to be some sort of battle or fight because, the Mind Flayer is still out there, okay? I think that's one thing we should always keep in mind and should always remember is that the Mind Flayer, until he is officially defeated, he's still going to be in the show. But the recent set pictures, to me, there's not really much of a spoiler that you can really find. Now, there was one from a few days ago, and this has been a topic of much debate. But we don't really know who's on, what I'm trying to get to is it's been assumed, that's what we're going to call it now, until we have some actual proof or confirmation that Millie Bobby Brown, they saw, they know what's going to happen with 11 and all that. And I don't know. It's very possible, yes. But for me, I don't want to go off of that. I want to wait and see, because it could be, it could not be. Now, the reason that some out there have speculated this is because apparently Millie Bobby Brown's stunt double was spotted in the pizza van with the other stunt doubles, and her head was shaved. Now, I mean, the stunt double could be working on another project and had to shave her head for that. I mean, we just don't know. It very well could be that 11 could have her head shaved again. I don't know. I mean, I know there are some fans out there who just, went with that, are kind of upset by that, because they don't, her beautiful locks, she just grew her hair out. And, part of me is like, yeah, I don't want that either, but we can't just go on that, the assumption, because we don't know. But one of the reasons that this episode is titled What's in a Spoiler is because this episode is really about how do we determine a spoiler, is what I'm really trying to get at. Is it because something that we see spoils a scene for us, or spoils the entire episode, or the entire show, the entire season? Or is it because it spoils what we want for the season? Because it does happen. I mean, I feel that way too. Like, for example, have you noticed that we haven't seen like any of Finn Wolfhard on set? Like, one time. And that was back when they first began filming again. And, I mean, like, what's up with Mike this season? I was just a little bit disappointed we haven't been able to see him as much as the others. Especially, like, Nancy and Robin. We've seen a lot of Maya Hawke and Natalia Dreyer this season. And Joe Keery. And I really like that, because I like those characters. But, there's two main characters that everyone wants to see. That is Mike and 11, because the love story, want to see them get back together. Yeah. So, but that's also why I'm kind of glad we haven't seen them, is because if I saw Millie Bobby Brown on set for this season, I don't know, it would kind of ruin it for me, because I'm like, that's part of the drive that drives me to wait for the show to premiere, or the season to premiere. But I think a lot of times the spoilers they spoil our expectations, right? And I think that's kind of a blessing in disguise of Stranger Things, and the way they film, and the way they keep it under wraps. Like, for example, Millie Bobby Brown, like, I think it's pretty obvious at this point that Millie Bobby Brown is the one that is being shielded by a black umbrella, because they don't want us to see her on set. And I'm okay with that, because to me, that adds even more intrigue. It piques my interest even more in season 4. So, one last little tidbit before I end this segment is, okay, with the girl with the shaved head, it could be Jim Hopper. I mean, I don't know if you have the opportunity and if you want to look at them. Yeah, they're all over the internet now. You can go search them. I think it's Stranger Things season 4 set pics. Um, they'll be up there, or just type in Stranger Things and click on the news button on Google, and it'll pop up. Like you can see them, and decide for yourself. Is it 11 or not? I don't know. But I will say this. I don't. It's always like Will doesn't change or evolve at all. And if you look up those set pics, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. But in the next segment, I will be talking about the new characters and of season 4 and kind of what I think of them, what I'm excited for with them, and some it also goes back to some set pics that were released in terms of these spoilers. So don't change that dial. We'll be right back. And we are back to episode 2 of the Through the Ham Radio podcast. And I hope you enjoyed the first segment. And as I mentioned earlier, and this segment will be talking about the new characters of season 4. They're a lot, and I really want to get your opinion on this because I've heard a lot of some positive things about having all these new characters, and then I've also heard some negative things. And mostly being there's too many. And that's why I wanted to ask the question. Okay, so when is too many new characters too many? And this is something that I think has kind of hurt Stranger Things really from season 2 on. Season 3, they didn't have quite as many. I will say that, but the ones that they did have really contributed to the overall theme of the season. Unlike in season 2 with that one episode, and season 2 was kind of all over the place. That's why it's kind of my least favorite season. I still like it, but it didn't really seem to have much of a flow. Like, for example, like season 1 and season 3, you knew it had a good flow. From beginning to end, it did not really get off course. And that's what I really liked about it. But I think with season 4, it's obvious that, this show, Stranger Things, is so popular, okay, that, it's spreading. It's going to get bigger and bigger until it ends. Because, Netflix obviously, likes the revenue and the streaming that comes in for Stranger Things. So yeah, I have no doubt that Netflix pours a lot of money into Stranger Things to help it get better. And when you when you increase the budget, you can afford to bring in more people. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. But I think this season the new characters I think will add not just to the storyline of the season, but to the storyline of the series as a whole, right? Because there's just so many questions that seem to have gone answered from the beginning. Like, we don't even really know what happened between the time that, uh, you know, Eleven escaped the lab until she got to Benny's restaurant. Like, we don't even know that. We don't know how she escaped. Um, we don't know why. I know it was, the Demogorgon, but we don't know why. And there just seems to be more emphasis on tying up the loose ends of this whole story. Why was Will taken? I mean, that's a good place to start. If he hadn't gone missing, we wouldn't have known anything about this, really. Um, you know, um, like, why do the Russians have a Demogorgon? What are they up to? Um, is the town of Hawkins finally waking up to what is going on in their town? That one's a big one. And not only that, but especially with this with the Penhurst um, mental hospital, that's a very intriguing storyline. I circled that one because I'm very interested in that plot, because I don't really know like how that would really tie into Stranger Things, other than in season 1 when they're trying to figure out who in the world 11 was, where she came from. Lucas says, well, maybe she escaped from Penhurst over there in Curley County, and that's the only thing we know about it. But the new characters in Penhurst, um, it's like, is there someone in Penhurst, maybe a Victor Creel, the new character, or Peter Ballard, um, the the asylum, not the warden, but is it functionary? I think, I don't know. Anyway, he works at Penhurst, um, taking care of the patients. You know, is there a connection with the lab, with Hawkins' lab, between the two of them, or the warden? I don't know. And what about the new characters that were just announced? I know many people circled Vicky's. She's Robin's girlfriend, but I don't know. I don't really like to, go down wishing wells like that, because I don't know. She could be a love interest for Steve. I don't know. But to me, it's like, I don't really think that Stranger Things would have gone to that much trouble to out Robin without giving her a significant other. But we'll see. And I don't really want that to be like her main reason for living this season, so she can say she had a girlfriend. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, that's not going to help them fight whatever monster they're going to be up against this season. But that's just my opinion. And what about Jason and Chrissy, star basketball player and head cheerleader, the most popular kids at Hawkins High School? Apparently things aren't so happy with them. I think in their personal lives, like what they would want people to believe. So, so what's up with that? I'm really excited to see that. Could Jason be another Steve? Could whatever happens this season cause him to think his life and see there's a better reason for living, a better purpose in his life than being the star basketball player, dating the most popular girl in school? I don't know. We we shall see. And the school counselor, Mrs. Kelly, I think that personally, I think that Max is seeing her after everything that happened with Billy in season 3. I think that's kind of a given. I watched the audition tape for that character. It's not the same actress that got the part, but it was another actress that auditioned for it, and it's out there. It's on YouTube, actually. You can go watch it. But to me, it sounds very much like she's talking to Max. Spoiler. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's what it really kind of sounds like to me. But I don't know. I've looked up all the character infos for the new characters, and they all seem to have something to contribute to this season, and I think that's really great. But I'm really excited to see Argyle, namely because I want to see Jonathan actually get a real friend, and see how Jonathan can do without Nancy being there. And I want to see Nancy taking out Jonathan, because it's always been those two together, and now they're not. So I'm really excited to see that. And the Russians, we've been told that one is a guard who, somebody is going to help Hopper. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Yeah, that's my take on the new characters. And yeah, I mean that's all I got for them. So on our next segment, this will be our third and final segment for this episode. But I want to talk about Hawkins a little bit, and this will kind of segue into I think our next podcast episode, where I really want to get more in depth with this. But I'm just gonna talk a little bit about Hawkins and what we can expect from Hawkins in season 4, because apparently we're not at Hawkins anymore. But I'm going to discuss a little bit more about some of these, the filming and stuff, set pics we've seen recently. So and don't go anywhere. We will be right back. And we are back for our third and final segment of episode 2 of the Through the Ham Radio podcast. I want to thank everyone for joining me so far. And so for this segment, we're talking about Hawkins in season 4, and kind of how I think it could fit into this season. So, the whole thing for season 4 is we're not at Hawkins anymore. That is what kind of has been promoted a lot. We know for a fact, with the Russia storyline, but other than that, we really don't know. It's been assumed that the Byers and 11 moved to California based off of area code on the Surfer Boy Pizza van, which is where Argyle works, that they're in California, but I don't know. We shall see. I don't really want to put the rumor mills out there all the time, because I I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're not been confirmed by Stranger Things or Netflix. So we'll leave it at that. But I don't know if it's because of the way they've been filming, like the order in which the episodes have been filmed for season 4. But we've seen a lot in Hawkins. They filmed a lot in Hawkins. They filmed a lot at the Hawkins High School. They filmed a lot in downtown Hawkins lately. And it seems to me like, yeah, they may not be in Hawkins anymore in terms of where Hopper is and 11 and the Byers family is. But it seems to me like all roads lead back to Hawkins, because that's where the gate was open and all that. So, and if you've seen the recent set pics, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into detail on it here, because again, I don't want to really spoil it for anyone out there listening. But it's going to get pretty rough in Hawkins, I do believe. And it's just like, again, all roads are leading back to Hawkins, and the high school seems to play a very big role in the show this season. Like, I guess I think it's because members of the party are now in high school, like Dustin, Lucas, and Mike, and Will and 11 are in high school now, and they are the stars of the show. So it's definitely going to focus in on them a lot in high school. Just having to get through being a teenager now and a high schooler, and all that comes with it. And if you've ever seen an 80s film that is set in a high school, then you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. It's pretty rough back then, I guess, in the 80s. High school, you had the jocks, you had cliques, you had jocks. I mean, a lot of that happens now, but it was a big deal back then. And especially considering the Hellfire Club is, not only the name of the club that we know that Dustin is a part of, but it's also assumed that Mike is as well, because of set pics from October or November last year, filmed Wolfhard. But the Hellfire Club, not only is it the official D&D club of Hawkins High School, but it's also, this has been confirmed, the title of the first episode of season 4. So we know that the Hellfire Club is going to play a huge role this season, which I'm also excited for. With that, I'm excited to see Eddie Munson and Joseph Quinn, the actor who plays as Eddie Munson. I've seen films and television series with him in it, and I must say he's good at playing a villain. Now, I don't know if Eddie will be a villain. It's assumed, but considering that we have seen him on set pics with Maya Hawke and Natalia Dyer and Joe Keery, Gayton and Caleb and Sadie, he's obviously, or assumably, doing something with the party. But yeah, I'm very interested to see him this season, because he could be one of those characters that seems harmless, but at the end of the day, he's a bad dude. Like with Billy, like we knew from the start, Billy was a rough dude. But I think that's one of the reasons that we kind of feel sorry for him at the end, or at least I did, was when you really, like 11 got to the source of his anger. It's because of his rough childhood. I don't know about Eddie, but we'll see about him. But I've seen somewhere, I saw on Reddit the other day, asking, based on the new set photos, is it clearly a battle coming or being fought in Hawkins this season? Will this be the season that Hawkins is like no longer a town? Will whatever's going to happen this season, will it completely wipe them off the map? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. As I've been researching everything in season 4, I've convinced myself that it's really the Stranger Things season finale part 1, or series finale part 1, because I've read that season 5 will more than likely be their last season. And as much as I'd love for this to go on, I'm like, these kids will be like in their 20s by the time season 5 is filmed and completed. And it's like, I just don't think they can, keep within the time frame that they want, with a year later scenario. But yeah, I think perhaps they're going to take us out of Hawkins for a good chunk of the season, and are going to bring us back to maybe see it be destroyed, or Hawkins as we know it be destroyed. That's all based on theories I've seen and set photos and things like that. But yeah, so in episode 3, next episode, I'll probably go a little bit more into depth on that, a little bit more than I have now. And I'm also going to be discussing, I think, Mike and 11. I think that's a good place to start. I want to do some character series stuff eventually, but yeah, I think I'll do some Mike and 11 stuff, what I expect from them, and just talk about their relationship in general. And yeah, so I think that's going to do it here on episode 2 of the Through the Ham Radio podcast. I want to thank everyone for joining me today and listening, and we'll see you next time on the Through the Ham Radio podcast, the Stranger Things podcast. Over and out.